I'm astrologer and life coach Penny Dix. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome back if you're a regular viewer here. And if this is your first time here, a big welcome to you. And if you are a Sagittarian and you have your sun in Sagittarius or your ascendant, also known as the rising sign, this is for you. And this is all about the astrological energies for you to navigate throughout the month of January 2023. So with no further ado, let's see what's going on in your close personal one-to-one relationships, because your 7th house Gemini has been hosting Mars, the planet of action, energy, assertion, sometimes aggression, sometimes anger, sometimes sexuality. Interesting, in your 7th house of close, significant relationships. And Mars has been here since August 2022. In October 2022, Mars went retrograde and it moved back through most of this part of your chart, giving you the opportunity to maybe slow down a bit in certain relationships, maybe just looking at how you can get better balance in the sort of the energy of the relationship, maybe enjoying more quieter times and just enjoying the sort of the nature of the relationship, and maybe getting quite physical. And you know, it is a physical planet, Mars, so it could have really been a very nice time for you if you're in a good relationship. The other thing that it can bring in this part of your chart, if you're single, is perhaps that you have met someone and are having a very nice time. I'm being very selective about the way I discuss this because I do not want to get banned on YouTube for talking about what goes on behind closed doors, but I think you get the general gist of it. Anyway, Mars is going direct on the 12th, and this is going to kind of feel like you've taken your foot off the brake in relationships. Things are going to suddenly move quite swiftly. And if there are changes that you need to make between you and a significant other, this is going to be really helpful. But Mars is still going to be here till March, in fact, till March the 12th, when it will move into Cancer. So you've got this Mars energy, and as I say, it's really good for close relationships. If there have been any problems, struggles, difficulties, then use this Mars energy to really kind of get to the sort of the crux of the matter, to get to the absolute center of it and sort it out. Really important with this kind of Mars energy. Now, what else have we got going on? Well, let's look at Capricorn, because Capricorn is your 2nd house of finance. Now, you have been, of course, hosting Pluto here for, well, since about 2008. So Pluto has completely transformed the way you structure your finances. It's pushed you to do that. There may have been events that have made it just, you know, very necessary and almost impossible to not change the way you structure or look after your kind of piggy bank. Let's put it that way. Now, we've had Mercury and Venus here as well. Mercury is our planet of communication and has been retrograde since the 29th. Venus, our planet of love and relationship, but also Venus represents money and self-worth, is also here. And Pluto, Mercury and Venus have all been quite up close and personal. So there's also an element here about how you have been valuing you. And I wonder whether that Mercury retrograde has had you doing a little bit of inner reflection and really looking at where you can perhaps change some of your behavior to accommodate and move with the times and move with the people in your life to make your close relationships have more value. So Mercury goes direct on the 18th, and it's still going to be in its shadow till the beginning of February. So you're still going to have that kind of energy around, but things are going to speed up with finance and with anything that is connected with joint finances, because remember, it brings in the energy of that 8th house, that opposition to you. Now, Venus, as I mentioned, has also been here. Venus, of course, represents finance. So it has also, I think, been helping that even though you've had that Mercury retrograde, Venus has been helping fill the coffers so that it's actually been quite a good time for you. Or at least I hope it has. For most Sagittarians, they should have found, while this energy is here, that things have been a bit easier financially. I want to talk a little bit about Venus, because Venus is actually on the 3rd moving into Aquarius. And this is your 3rd house of communication. And interestingly, like Mars has just had a retrograde, Venus does as well this year. In fact, Venus is retrograde. This is just a short heads up for the future. But Venus is retrograde in Leo from the 23rd until, that's July the 23rd, till September the 4th. And that can be something to do with the nature of relationships. But I'll come to that later on in the year. Now, let's look at this Venus in Aquarius, because by the 22nd, Venus is conjunct Saturn. Now, you've had Saturn in this part of your chart for nearly, well, for over 2 years now, and it's about to move into Pisces in 2 or 3 months or so. So you've had this energy here kind of putting structure into the way that you communicate, because sometimes Sagittarius, because Jupiter is your ruling planet, you can be, you probably speak before you think, or you say too much, because Jupiter expands everything. So Saturn has been kind of almost teaching you to just slow down, especially with regard to social media and to the internet and to anything that is written through our technological devices, that you've had to sort of really think carefully about what you're saying and how you're saying it. Now, Venus is going to be conjunct Saturn, and I just think this is going to give more weight to what you have to say. I think it's going to give value to what you have to say. I think you'll suddenly feel that you can start kind of communicating in a much more eloquent way with this energy here. So Venus stays here till the 27th and then moves into Pisces, which of course is your 4th house of home and family. But I'll talk about that more when I do February's astrology. So the other big news we have to look at is about my big outer boy, Uranus, our planet of the unexpected, our planet of freedom, of waking up, it can be quite explosive and quite sudden. It can bring sudden events. Now, Uranus has been retrograde in Taurus in the part of your chart that is to do more with your day-to-day routine. It can also be your health, and it is also to do with really service to others and how you feel you can do your bit for society. Now, Uranus has been retrograde for several months. These outer planets, when they go retrograde, it's always more or less for quite a long period of time. The inner planets, when they go retrograde, like Mercury, it's usually 3 to 4 weeks. Mars and Venus, when they go retrograde, it tends to be a bit longer, as we've had with this recent Mars retrograde. So when Uranus turns direct on the 22nd in Taurus, in this part of your chart, you might find that something unexpected happens that pushes you to change your routine. Now, there could be lots of kind of areas that Uranus will bring sudden events. It could be with your health. Don't worry. Don't fear it. But it may be a timely warning that there is something that you need to address. So just be kind of mindful of that. But Uranus going forward is going to see, I think, this beginning of the year for you really speeding up with your day-to-day activity. I think it's going to make you super busy, and you are going to be finding that your plans change unexpectedly, suddenly. You think you're going in that direction, and then it all changes and you're going back in the opposite direction. But all in all, Sagittarius, an interesting time for you. An interesting time for all of us. So thank you so much for joining me for your January overview. And please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.